Hello, Saku from Fear of Domination, and you are watching GRIMM TV with me. Enjoy.
Really nice to meet you again. It's been a while since we last
I
talked.
got a couple of years at least.
Yeah, I think last time we had an interview was with not the last Timmy Cutlet album, but the one before.
Yeah, something like that. So it's quite a while.
I noticed you've been quite busy. How have you been?
Well, to be honest, quite well still. Of course, there's in my kind of life, combining this artisty thingy with the, I don't know what. I don't even know what to call it anymore. This the whole thing called my life. It's so hectic in many ways, but still, I've always believed that it rewards more than it takes. In many ways, not just money wise or something like that. It gives so many reasons to live and breathe for tomorrow as well. And seeing people enjoying what I do, giving them a little bit something more to live and breathe for, that's even better and makes the whole thing more worth it in many ways. And of course, I'm really grateful for the fact that this whole multi-artist thingy, let's call it that at this point, it pays enough so I can financially survive in a way doing all this and just focus more and more of my effort on this whole thing. It was fun, let's say some time back there was this one guy after the show and asking me when you get home, just vacation after vacation, holidays and everything like that. No. And he was like, yeah, but you're in the superstar. No, I'm not. And basically, the more time I get, for example, from the escape rooms, loving that as well as a job, but the more I get financially the more I get money from this artist thingy, and the more I can leave normal jobs behind. That means that I can I have an option to do more of this artisty thingy, not just live like a king or anything like that. Even though some people say it looks like that, well, then you're welcome to try as well if you want.
Well, being part of Timmy Cutlet means that at least on that part you're quite busy because the band is quite a touring machine, so to say.
Yeah.
It's been a while that you've released a new full album with Fear of Domination. Were your other projects sort of kind of interfering a little bit with the progress of that, or?
In a way, yes, but happily I have first of all, big thanks to the name agency, Rowan Rafferty, who is doing all the bookings for all of my projects and bands. It's when one band is having some kind of a break or something, holidays or whatever, of course that means that some other band might step up and take the role from there. For example, for Fear of Domination, it was it was a good time for us now that Turmikat is having a couple of months off and people are licking their wounds and getting some new stuff done. It's because we have been touring quite a long time. So it really feels good to have to do something different, to have some time to do something different. Let it be Fear of Domination or whatsoever, but still it's for me, it's when Turmikat is having holiday, well, Fear of Domination is going on tour. And in the meantime, Stereoterror is doing new songs. And it's in Finland, we have this saying called that taikurilla on monta hattua, like a magician is having many hats or something like that. So that's basically what I'm feeling as well. But there hasn't been too many conflicts between the bands. The one band eating from another or something, killing opportunities. And every time there is a festival or some kind of show where they want to book many of my bands or 2 or 3 shows, I'm not going to be the guy who is the reason why one of my bands cannot perform. It's not going to be an easy one for me, but still, if some promoter wants to book all of my bands, then I should do all the 3 shows. It's it's a little bit hardcore sometimes, but still, I don't want to be the person that the rest of the band can blame that because of you we didn't get this or that. And in a way, I want to take them all like a challenge in a way, because there is not like too many people who can do 3 or 4 shows in a day. So if I get that opportunity, it's not going to be easy, but I want to try it at least.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, you finally released that new full album,
Yes.
Fear of Domination, Katharsis, which kind of like suggests that like there's some kind of, I don't know, emotional release or like a transformation going on. Was that actually something that was like going on with the band in its whole, or?
I think in the band and in the album as well, but the funny fact is that last thing we came up was the album name. So it was like we were making the songs and there were some difficulties finding the proper producers and where to mix it and how to produce it. We got this new singer then she wasn't new, now she has been like for a couple of years already, new singer Jessica and a new drummer Anton, and we were building the chemistry and trying to see what we can do with this current lineup, because in Fear of Domination I love the fact that when members change or something new influences us, like Lasse, for example, our main composer and keyboardist, gets like a new idea. I've heard this like it might not be even metal, it might be something. I've heard this like a nice instrument or nice thingy. I want to try how we can fix that into our music. And they were like, oh sure, let's try that. And it's always constant evolving around that. Besides that, the new members. Besides that, the whole fighting and trying to find the proper producers and stuff like that. There was like it was really maybe one of the hardest albums I've ever done in my career in a way. But now when I'm looking at the end product, I think it's the reason why the album is what it is the reason that we wanted to keep going. We didn't give up. We didn't give up to any other parties asking what the music should be, or we didn't also give up because of the lack of the motivation already, like getting tired of the fighting all the time. And at the end of the day, when we found the right people and right items to work with, everything just like clicked in a way. And after that, it was like, of course, work, but everything started to roll quite easily. And it was like 1 or 2 months before when we were already like the album was coming, we are setting the dates and like, hey, we should even figure out what we're going to call this album. Like we have the songs and we have some music videos coming, but we have no name for the album. And that's how the whole name came as well, because we were just looking back for the couple of something like 3 or 4 years, how much this whole process took. So that's when we came up with the name Katharsis. And I think it's, well, even if you don't know the whole backstory behind it, for us it's like a really important name in that way as well, because it really represents what we went through with this album.
Yeah, after you telling me what went on, the title makes total sense.
Yeah.
You mentioned finding a producer. You worked with Jarno Hänninen.
Mm-hmm.
How much did that kind of influence and eventually like the kind of creative process or the sound of it?
I think, well, first of all, it was fun fact that Jarno was the first mixing engineer who mixed our first album back in the way something like 2009, and he was one of the first people like who was like, yeah, let's do something with Fear of Domination music. We had fun and we did some stuff and music and whatsoever, and then we started to do bigger albums with the different producers, different mixing engineers and stuff like that. And when we're struggling, we sent our demos and singles to even to Sweden and some other producers, and still it didn't feel right. Something was missing. We couldn't even tell what was missing, and that was somewhat of our problem as well. That in a way we didn't know good enough what we wanted this to be, so it's really hard to tell you that make this better, because we cannot tell you what we need more or less in that. Mm-hmm. So I understood completely the other parties as well, why it was most likely a little bit frustrating to them as well, because we were struggling to find what we wanted to hear, but didn't know what it was in a way, if that makes any sense. And then Jarno came because we are training and our home studio is the same studio that he's having, and he was like, "Can I take this as like a challenge?" And like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, because we are running out of ideas. Like, sure, and then we played some references and something like elements from here, elements from there, maybe something like from here, and he listened to them all. I don't know, was it like a month or something? He started to work with the sound, and then he came up with the idea. Let's do something like this kind of world in soundscapes and stuff like that. And because of Jassi, of course, what he brings to the mixing table is always some orchestral stuff. He wants to make it big, and for Lasse, our main composer for this album, that's always a good thing. He loves to make it big as well. But still, we wanted to be a little bit edgy, a little bit rough, not just cut corners from everywhere. There has to be something like a rough in that as well. And well, we've threw some ideas back and forth, and then we just noticed that maybe in the beginning we should have just stayed home with our home team, not just like trying to get some big names to build it or producers or something like that. They sure have their talents as well, but like when we just sat down in our own studio, make some coffee and started to talk, and then we just tried things. It was so easy to try. We got to, well, we have this knob here, more or less, like it was so relieving to see it, how the album was starting to really like come alive. In a composing wise, Jarno, of course, he checks what we have composed, and if there's like some things he would like to fix, he always proposes stuff like that. But most of all, he did a tremendous job like producing singing parts, looking for the harmonies, fixing harmonies, and making some more stems. If we wanted to go big, like he was always like, no, let's do it. This is not how like a church choir would do it. This is like how a rock singer would do it, but we wanted to go big, so we will do it like this way. And it was like fun to see how he was like it was like the crazy hat maker in a way, like whoa, getting all the ideas and mixing everything in there. So in the main composing parts, sure, he played his role, but I think where he really did shine was making everything to look and sound what we wanted to sound, because we didn't, like I said, didn't even know what was missing. So he found that little missing piece and built that. And after that, of course, he mixed the whole thing as well.
That's great. Sometimes it's just that one tiny missing thing that you need to.
Yeah, but we were looking for that like, I don't know, 3 years. That's like a crazy, like a wow. But yeah, that's not all behind right now, and I'm just really grateful that we fought the whole way through.
And I feel like if I compare it to like your other albums, like still very much sounds like you guys. It does have that like a little bit like epic feel, but at the same time like that very organic kind of roughness that, well, we've come to expect a little bit from Fear of Domination, I'd say.
Yeah.
I also noticed that there was at least like one song or a couple of songs that you distinctively used way more clean vocals. Was that something that just kind of, I don't know, fit that particular song, or? I
think it fits up more, and it was like there has never been like a problem for me to use my clean vocals, and I wanted to train them. I have been training them all the time, even before I did any kind of distorted vocals. Like a youngster, I was always, of course, doing the clean things, and then when we got Sarah or Jessica joined the band and started doing the clean things, of course, somehow it went naturally to that side. That they can produce beautiful female vocals and they sound really clear and beautiful. So why the heck not? That was like a good thing. But in this album, we want to challenge the whole Beauty and the Beast in a way, like that it wouldn't be like that there's like a Beauty and the Beast, because Jesse also has like a really good like a distorted sounds, screams and stuff like that, and we found it many places where we can fit my clean or cleanish voices or whatsoever you want to call them, and it wasn't like that we wanted to, somehow like break the cycle all the time. But it was more like that, hey, we have done this 10 times already before. Should we try something different? And then we tried something different. Like I said, now we have this own studio. We can just bend the knobs or try different things. Everything was so fast and easy in a way. So then we just did some things, and I tried my voice more. And Jussi was like, yeah, I like this. Like, let's go with this. This like brings whole new theme to the whole song in a way. And well, then there's the ending song, The Feel, which is like completely clean. That's like a building up for at least for a couple of albums already. Where it's like some kind of a bastard of me and Lasse. We did it mostly together, and it was. It's if you say personal, it sounds like some kind of dramatic on it, something like no. It's really meaningful song for us too. So we were trying to push it to the albums like for at least 2 albums before, and I wouldn't sing in any other way like we did it already. Like if you would add some distorted vocals and screaming, and that would totally change the mood what we were looking for in that song.
Yeah. Were there like for this album like any other like things that you guys like new things that you tried out and such that you felt like turned out like really great, or that you like kind of really proud of, like, hey, how this turned out?
Well, the single, the All As One, sure is one. Like that is like something 80s, 90s album metal vibes in that, like a classic metal vibes with all the curly hairs and wind machines and stuff like that. That's one for sure I'm gonna bring into this, because it was like for some time we were like nah, is it too much for the album? It's kind of it's totally different from anything that's from the album. Any other song you can some way link to another, but there's like this All As One in the middle, like what is that? But then we just like thought like, well, what is Fear of Domination? Well, we have always in a way done the music for ourselves, like and we always have wanted to make the people like poke them a bit in a way as well. So All As One sure was that. And when we did the music video with Lauri as well, Hämeenläinen Lauri, who produced the whole music video as well, like let's not go with the basic creepy faces and stuff like that. Let's do something completely, in a way, Fear of Domination, but still like a completely different. And then we came up with the idea with the UV lights. We have been using the UV lights, but we haven't used it like in that manner in any way before. So that was the like that sure is one of the things we haven't done ever before, but now, especially when we have played some songs with it, All As One is, well, when looking at the audience, it's one of the best live songs it seems for now, because there is the vibe in it. It doesn't sound as harsh or brutal or melancholic or something cool words like that, but it totally has its uses.
When I believe that was the first single, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely poked the bear, or poked people a little bit, because I remember seeing comments like, "Oh, what's this? Like, this is not Fear of Domination. Like, what the fuck?"
When did Battle Beer started using UV lights, like that was one comment in some place.
It was funny to see. I always appreciate when a band dares to like poke things a little bit and say like, "Hey, look what we did." Now you guys have been known to be quite like, in a sense, theatrical, and the visual aspect of band is quite important. Like in the past, the makeup with all the UV lights, like live and such. Now with the masks, how important was that still kind of now to kind of bring across the like emotional core of this album? I believe most of the band members still use the somewhat same masks as the earlier run, right?
Yeah, somewhat. We have been upgrading, or there's like a 2.0 or maybe completely new mask. But like, even though we do most of the visual side ourselves, it's like, or maybe with help of some professionals as well, but still like, there's not like some people, some guy or girl or whatsoever who brings us new masks and there you go, and you just wear them. I think this is kind of a question for everyone for themselves, like telling about why he or she wants to look like that. But as a matter of the whole visual thing, it's like there's like this old truth I heard when I was like I don't know, a couple of years into the professional music or something, and there's this old musician, famous musician, who told me like when you want to start to make shows, remember that people listen with their eyes, and that's like really stuck with me. It doesn't mean that you always have to have some kind of circus or UV lights or masks or whatsoever, but most of all that there has to be something more because it's show. So describe me what show means. That means something entertaining, something that makes me question or wonder or think about things. It cannot be just music, even though the music is the main core, of course, but still like there has to be something more. So for us, the visual side in a way came quite naturally, because that's like the one rule which really have stick with us and which we live by, is that we want to give something for the eyes as well. And to be honest, for my thinking, just basic metal band moshing their heads and that's all. That might be cool. That depends on the music, the whole drive, and that might be. But for Fear of Domination, I don't think that we would have ever accomplished so much if it would be just me and this old face. Like you need to hide it, and it might work for someone. Somebody is like really intrigued to it. It might even annoy someone. Well, that's even better. They're gonna make a double of noise comparing to the people who like it. But nevertheless, it's like in a way it's a little bit poking around as well. But still, it's like also when I'm making music, it's not like it's not about me as a Saku. It's more like I think I can speak for all of us. It's not like me or Lasse or Jessica or whoever in the band. It's more like us people, this group making music, and it's about the music. It's about the show. It's about the elements in the music and the whole scene. It's not about the persons in a way. Even though I'm like a really glad that, for example, you asked me to come to this interview, still I think that I'm representing the music, the band, the brand, the whole thing that it is, and I'm just like a messenger for that, and that's what we're talking about, not like what I am. I'm not the important part in here.
You mentioned earlier that OAS 1 has been working quite well live.
Yeah.
I was just kind of wondering, like, you've played now a couple of shows already with the new album out. Mm-hmm. I assume you played quite some tracks from the album. When you play the tracks of the new album, do you kind of feel like there's somewhat of a shift of energy in the crowd, or like some kind of audience response that kind of is somewhat different than to the older materials?
Yeah, for sure. It's like, of course, there are new songs. Well, for starters, for me personally, I'm scared as shit when I'm performing those, because it's like it's not like I don't know how they goes. It's not like I don't know what to sing or what the words are. We have trained and we have composed them, so of course those are our songs. But still, like when comparing the older ones, it's like we've been playing those for ages and so many times. So it's like for the new songs, for me, it's always like I still like think a lot when performing, like, yeah, this part you do that, and when comparing to the old songs, you just play around and do whatever, and it just comes out naturally. So of course it's like in a way, in a good way, it's scary. About the audience, I must say I'm a little bit more surprised, because usually when we have performed new songs, it's like it's not a mood killer, but you can sense in the audience that they're like figuring out what's happening. They're like enjoying the moment. They're like, oh, ooh, ah, oh, yeah, ah. And now when we started even the first song, the Alone, the main track from the album as well, it's like instant energy starts to grow up already, even though we just released the album. Usually it takes like some time to people to get known with the album, but it seems that they have done their homework. So I sure as hell hope that we have done as well, and I will get out of the nervous bubble, and I want to be more alive with it as well.
Well, it's good to hear that there's like straight away such a good response to your new work.
And it was really surprising, like I said, because usually it takes some time, and I totally understand it. For me as well, when I go to see some bands and there's new songs, I'm going to enjoy the song, but it's not like I cannot totally dwell into it or feel it as I will in the future when I know the songs and know the elements and everything like that.
Especially if it's like a band that you're a fan of, but not like a kind of hardcore fan that you follow everything. Like new songs can sometimes be like, okay, that's cool, but
yeah, and even though the first expression is that, still it might be after, I don't know, some time, you somehow figure it out what the song is about, and then it might even be the best song you ever have heard from them. And that's like a really cool, that's like a music well done, when it's not so easily, you cannot just so easily swallow the whole. You have to really like bite and chew it a little bit, and then you find the flavors, you find the layers, and then you start to somehow you dwell into it.
Well, let's hope there's a bunch more people still picking up your album. I mean, it's only been out for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Hopefully there's people discovering you guys maybe with this album. And really like you.
You can also hate. Just remember to hate loudly.
That's a conversation I've had with a lot of artists, that like we want some kind of emotion with what we make, like not just like okay.
Yeah, because especially in the modern day, and modern day music industry, there are so many talented people releasing music all the time. It's like we are buried under new music, constantly coming new music. So it's also about like standing out from that group. And in a way, the worst compliment you can get is like, it's quite nice, because that means you're in the same line. It's not a competition between the bands. At least I don't want it to be competition between the bands. But of course, if you really give some time to something, you don't want to be like a mild handshake in a way, if you get my meaning. Like
it exists.
Yeah, it exists, and of course there's this thing like some songs just are not for everyone. That, well, I think there isn't like one song ever made that it's for everyone. Somebody will think it's crap. Somebody will think it's the coolest thing that you have ever heard, and somewhere around the middle is like the people are, I kind of dig it. Yeah, it's good. That's that. But like maybe even I want to challenge that whole thinking. Like maybe let's go that they have listened. Let's think that they have listened to the album. It's like it's quite good. But somehow we got them to come to our show, and at least at that point they're like, the album is quite good, but the show was something. Or the other way around as well. The show was quite good, and then I listened to the album. Holy fuck! I haven't heard about these guys before. That's like something I want to get. It's like everybody wants like easy winnings. Like you just release an album, people are like, fuck yeah, this is the best thing ever, and that's not something. Well, of course that would be nice as well. But not gonna lie about that. But I think it's more worthy in a way if you manage to get the people understand what you're doing, and not just releasing music to the void, but getting the people get to hear you, get to see you, and then you represent yourself, this whole brand, this music, and they get into it. They find their way of being a fan to it. It's not like telling me to you that, hey, if you want to be a fan, you need to be, look, sound, do something like this. It's more like you find the meaning of our music for yourself.
Yeah. For me, Fear of Domination is very much live band. I was the one that was like, yeah, that sounds good, and then I saw you guys live all the way back in 2017 at Tuska.
Yeah.
When you dropped in the middle of the show that Sarah was becoming a like
Yeah.
member of the band and such.
Yeah,
Like
that was the first time we played in Tuska, if I remember correctly as well.
that was like I was there, and I was like, "Ooh, yeah,
Ooh,
now
yeah.
now I get it."
But that's one of the best ways to get it, and that's one of the best ways for the music to come alive as well for you.
Now we're very much at the beginning of the year. What are your hopes, goals, whatever for like 2026 for you personally, or with Fear of Domination?
Well, for Fear of Domination, we have talked about it, of course, with the band. And first of all, we're gonna a little bit enjoy that. We, like I said, we won this fight in a way. We won this war, and we released the album. We want to enjoy that and make the shows with it. We have this little tour going around Finland right now, but also we just counted that it's like 20 years from the first day when we gathered up in a small garage and then picked some instruments and making some sounds into the mic, and like it was nothing like a Fear of Domination nowadays, or there was quite some time before Fear of Domination became anything as it is like nowadays. But still, we called ourselves Fear of Domination, even though what punk it was. So we were thinking like maybe we should somehow celebrate it. Maybe it would be cool to do some kind of like a 1 or 2 special shows for Helsinki. Some kind of like a 20 years of domination year special show. Maybe bring some guest artists, get the best cool friends and bands play with us or something like that. I think that's something we've been building up. That it would be really cool to do that. And also all the promoters and people who is working in the industry, let us know. Maybe something like that. Also, there's some our friends have been calling like, hey, I want to do a remix from this song or that song or so. We are always open for people like expressing their artistic side with our music, let it be visual or remixes or whatsoever. That is one thing, or a couple of things, I suppose. I'm now looking for the inquiries already. And also we were thinking like maybe we should re-record one of the old songs or something like maybe something even so old that we haven't ever even released it. We were just looking for the old videos and demos like from the punkish era, so to say. Maybe there would be something to do, or maybe something from the Schizophrenia, like remake something with the current lineup. Who knows? Something like that would be cool.
Sounds like a lot of possible really cool things.
Yeah, but for now, we just let the ideas bubble up and enjoy the ride for now.
Yeah, of course. All right. Guess we're about there. Is there anything at all that you would like to say still to whoever ends up watching this to wrap it up?
Well, first of all, like I said, it's not about me, it's about their music. But besides that, it's about you. So let it be Fear of Domination, let it be some other band or some other artistic influence. Wow, that was a cool term. Enjoy that. Enjoy the moment. Most of all, enjoy the moments, because the moments, those moments that really matter are rare. So if you ever somehow find yourself from this feeling, from this moment that you understand, whoa, this is something, really cherish that moment and remember that moment in the future as well. And besides that, come to our shows. We love to see you there.
All right.
Was that cool?
Yeah. That's perfectly fine. All right. Well, thanks for the talk. We'll be looking forward what 2026 still brings for Fear of Domination.
Same for me, and for me and for everything, all the other bands as well.